Right, so some sports, you're just sitting here thinking, how do people watch this shit? I mean, I mainly watch football, darts, and F1. People are thinking darts. Yep, darts. Now, I mean, I know that was a craze going around. We'll start with darts. Sure, that was a craze going around about, almost a year ago now at this point when obviously Luke Little made the World Championship final. And then it started falling off a bit. But for the people which still fly darts, I mean, there's some people who stuck around at me. But anyway, this craze, everyone buying dartboards, and you just see people full on buying the darts, which they know they're going to quit in about a month, and when they find out it's actually hard and you can't just throw 180s every fucking visit. Anyway, moving on from darts though, that craze it just fell off mentally. I bet the darts industry was loving it. Anyway, you look at certain sports, you think, how the fuck can you sit here watching that? Golf. How can you sit there watching golf? I mean, it's just people hitting a ball with a stick. With a fucking metal. I mean, I'm not going to say stuff like this, it's just this and this, because then you can say about everything. Oh, it's just people kicking a ball into a goal. Oh, it's just people throwing a ball into a fucking hoop. Oh, it's just fucking people throwing metal at a board. That's darts, by the way. It's just people hitting a ball with a stick. That's like cricket or, baseball, whatever. Like you could say it about literally any sport. F1, it's just cars going round. Like, you know what I mean? You could say it about anything. So you can't really just say that. But for golf, it's just like, come on, it's boring. Nothing happens. There's no... You know what's going to happen with golf as well, that's the thing. It's the exact same thing every time. I mean, maybe it's impressive or whatever because, you've got to account for wind and conditions and whatever else. But I don't care how impressive it is. Again, it's one of them. Golf, you've got to play it. It's fun to play, sure, but then when you watch it, you're like, for fuck's sake, it's so boring. It's like, there's loads of them sports where you're like, it's all right to play it yourself, but when it's boring when you watch it. I mean, so boring. Another example of that is snooker or pool. I mean, I've never actually played snooker, but it's basically the same as pool for this example, what I'm going to say next. It's fun to play. But when you watch it, especially pool, you're like, gee, it's so boring. And the reason why professional pool is so boring to watch is because it's basically whoever breaks first. Whoever breaks wins the fucking frame or whatever they call it in pool. Because everyone's that good that unless you you fuck up and miss, you've got the frame. So that's why it's boring. What they should do to make pool more exciting is, and I know they'd never do this obviously, is make it the size of a snooker table. So the shots are actually difficult and not totally boring. And, jeez, I mean, you just get to the point where you're like, for fuck's sake, it's so boring. Even snooker sometimes, I'm like going to sleep watch. I mean, I only watched the World Championship whenever it was, April, I think, at some point. And that was half decent to watch, but I wouldn't watch it every week or whatever, whenever it's on. Football gets a bit boring as well. Here's the reason why football gets a bit boring. And people say, how can you think football's boring? It is, it's boring, man. It's like, it's just so boring. And the reason being is, when you get games that like 0-0 or 1-0 with like a last minute, honestly, it's so boring to watch. Like, I've sat here for like an hour and 40 because of the amount of added time that gets added on every fucking match. So it's an hour and 40 now, not an hour and a half pretty much. Just to watch a 0-0 draw between fucking Bournemouth and Everton as an example. I don't know if that's happened or whatever actually happened. That's just an example. Just a boring 0-0 Bournemouth versus Everton, which why am I even watching it in the first place? Because I don't support either team. You're just like, Jesus, it's so boring. The reason being as well, not only because the result is 0-0 or 1-0, so it's been no goals. Honestly, is the flow of play. It's so stop-start all the time. It's like you get offsides and fouls and all the bullshit with the referees, but you know why it happens, and yet it's got to happen, but it makes it so boring to watch. Honestly, I'm just sitting here like, for fuck's sake, get on with it. Jesus. And then you see people, Americans, calling it fucking soccer as well. It's football, man. And you kind of do get it, because they've for some reason decided just to take rugby and call it football with slightly different rules. And you have to wear helmets and all that gear, and like just call it football. Like just call it football. It's like with these languages things where you're like, this is the thing. This is not about sport now. Can't everyone use the same money? And people be like, no, you can't. No, that's never gonna work. Why? Why can it not work? I mean, I don't know why we can't just have a universally used money. I mean, surely, most of Europe did it, and it's working. So why can't we just take that, except from Britain? Why can't we just take that and just apply it to the whole world? Like, why can't stop? Honestly, just literally use the same money, pretty much, as everyone else. Everyone should use the exact same money. Speaking of money, I don't know why people say this wouldn't work. Get rid of it. And I know this is like going to be like an ideal situation here, but we should get rid of money, right? And make it so everyone in society has to do the bit. You can get everything for free, but basically it's like limited. So, basically, if I had like £1 million, I could go into Tesco's and buy whatever I wanted, really. Unlimited. I could basically buy out the whole shop. Basically, if I had like 10 million quid, buy out the whole shop. But now that money doesn't exist in this hypothetical, what would happen is I'd go into Tesco's and basically everyone would have these card things, and I don't mean like a credit card. Everyone would have these card things which says information on it, and digital information on it, like, oh, he lives alone, he lives with 3 kids, a wife, he needs more. So basically, you get what you need, basically. And people say, oh, I need more, I've got special conditions, or some bull. There'll always be someone that ruins it. It would work perfectly fine. I mean, there'd be a lot of stuff that has to go into it. And here's why. I'll tell you why it wouldn't work, though. It wouldn't work based on this society right now, because everyone's a dickhead, and everyone would be like, oh, it ain't working, it's not working. You know why? Because nobody would do the bit. And what I mean is, people would say, well, why would people work then for no money? Because money don't exist, right? There's no money, so no one's earning anything. So the reason why you're working is, well, basically, so society doesn't collapse. That is the only reason you're working. If you don't work, say everyone just quit because, oh, fuck this, I'm not working for nothing. Society would just collapse, really, because you're not working, so everything just goes downhill. And obviously, so basically that would encourage people to work, really. I mean, obviously, you're either working for nothing or society's collapsing because you're not working. So get to fucking work, you stupid cunt. I mean, it would work. It would 100% work. I do not care what you say. If everyone wasn't a dickhead, if we lived in an ideal society where everyone just worked to work, not for the profit, because there's no profit, because money's gone. I told you, get everything for free. Everything. And people would say, well, then, all right, well, see, it gets ridiculous now, where the only bit where really it wouldn't work, except from that, is the housing thing and stuff like that, where you're like, oh, well, I want to move into a mansion then for free. And now, see, okay, you're stuck with the house you've got now, right? So, like, no, can't do it. First of all, we'll get rid of flats. This is going on for a bit now, but this is the ideal world. We'll get rid of flats. We'll make sure everyone has got a house. We'll get rid of it. It would work. So overpopulation, if you ask me, is a real problem. This is why it wouldn't work. Overpopulation. You've got millions of people on the streets across the whole world. Millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Tens of millions probably across the streets. Suffering. I mean, it's just like... sick of it. You just don't... Jeez, just get rid of it. Because, I mean... see if it ain't failing enough. You either do your bit or you're dead. That's what I mean. You either do your bit or you're dead. That's the end of this. This has been going on for too long. This is another video out. There will be another video coming out which isn't bullshit randoms after this. I'm honestly running out of topics of bullshit randoms. I'm honestly running out of rant videos. It literally is me just ranting about nothing at this point. Anyway, see ya. You dick.